Most administrator approval is done behind the scenes. However, if you are a client with the privilege to approve your own, here's a little bit of information on approving admins. First, you click on the Approve Admins link under the Home tab. Anyone that's registered that's in an unapproved state or has not completed the registration process will show up on this list. A couple of examples here, so I'll click on the user sample example. The name is presented at the top, and over here you can scroll through different pieces of information, the contact information, the address. And the key to approving administrations is in the status drop-down. So I can move someone to approved, I can move someone to rejected, or keep them in a submitted status, or pending additional information required. So just a helpful reminder to me that I've requested more information from this admin. Why this matters is usually we want to make sure we're giving appropriate assessment content to appropriate registrations. If I register and I have no business taking a test, I have no business administering a test, we would not want to approve that administrator. So I'm going to click on Rejected to begin. If I were to click Save here, some information would go to that administrator, whether or not you have the email feature turned on, that says, hey, you've been rejected and here's why. Pending will keep them in that state, but we'll go to Approve. There's a lot more to this screen. So under Approve, we can set a qualification level. Do they have experience using assessments? Do they have a master's degree so they could administer personality assessments, or maybe even a PhD so they can do more high-risk assessments? This is going to open the catalog of assessments based on your qualification level. If I set it to D, I'm going to see fewer content as that administrator than I would if I was set to A. You can also establish a new client. So imagine a hierarchy in your organization and your boss is the start. When you approve administrators and set new clients, you're essentially adding a sub-client. So it's like you're putting someone else on that boss's org chart. And in doing so, you would want to set a client name and a client URL so they can log into that site and not log into that boss's or parent site. If I say do not approve them as a new client, they're going to register as an account on the same client level I'm at right now. So if I register a client called Ford Motor Company and I say no new client, it's going to keep this administrator registered under Ford Motor Company. If I say new client, perhaps I'd want to set up a division for Mazda or something like that. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's say Mazda_demo. We're going to establish a new client. If I want to make sure, does another client have this name, I can click on the client search, and if something does come up, it'll show. I probably have something under my name. Yeah, so it's got a couple of clients to say, don't reuse this. So I'm going to take the Mazda demo, and I'm creating a new subclient. The next tier is setting the subscription type. These features come with a standard set of authority. So a basic subscription, it's free. You can administer and assign tests, you can order tests, but you can't look at reports, you can't build workflows, you can't set up unlimited clients underneath you. So I'm going to make this a standard account. Well, we'll make it a professional account so I can set clients up underneath us. So that gives me a standard set of privileges under this login and this account. The next thing I can do is assign security. Do I want to establish these application roles for the client? Yes. And to this particular administrator. So let's say they don't belong with group management or authoring or client management, but they do need to have access to the site. And then finally, I can establish what sales offers do they have. Do they have access to the entire public catalog? Do we have a specific sales offer we've given them with only their content? And that's where we establish those pieces. So I've approved user sample, and I've set him or her up under a client called Mazda Demo. And if I click Save, that administrator will be approved. He or she will get an email saying, hey, you can log in, and the URL that they're going to log into is https://terra.vitapower.com/Mazda demo, instead of the demo that I registered, the account that I registered for. So I've now completed that registration process, and they've saved and gotten their correspondence.